Alright guys, we're at Catskill Outdoorsman with owner Ryan. We're going to be working on the new Bear Paradigm from 2023 from Bear Archery.
Give us some stats on the bow. So this is a long draw bow because Shane here is one of our shop shooters, pro staff.
Gorilla arms.
You could, if he were to jump out of a building, you just have to extend his arms, he'd glide down safely because of how big his arms are.
Especially in the city. That's
so this bow here, this Paradigm, is 33 inches axle to axle, so it's a nice forgiving bow because of how long it is. But you also are able to get a little bit more speed out of that because of its draw length. The bow has a brace height of about 6.5 inches, which is from the throat here to the string. Peak draw weight on this bow is 60 pounds in particular that we have here with us, but they do have 70-pound limbs for it. Draw length adjustability is 27 to 32 inches for you guys that do have those gorilla arms.
Keep talking.
This bow will be a speed of 333 feet per second, and it has an 80% let off. And this is the Paradigm by Bear Archery. When I first shot this bow, when my rep came into the shop, I was surprised at how smooth the draw was, especially for a dual cam bow. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, the Bear Archery bows, they tend to be really aggressive with their cam system. And this one, it took me by surprise. It was such an easy and buttery smooth draw and almost dead in the hands. Slight vibration when I released a string, a little thump, and it went whoop, and it just went away really quick. But I was extremely impressed with this bow. So we're going to be putting this bow together here as a pro staff bow for Shane here to compete with. We're going to be installing on it the Trophyridge React 1 Pro Dovetail,
which is this site right here.
one of my favorite sites. For your single pin guys, it's a really good site. Me personally, I like a 3-pin, 20-30, and then my floater is my 40-yard pin.
Yeah.
But that is a really good single pin, and it's a .010 size peep on it.
Which is what I wanted to do, just because I wanted a smaller peep. Or
Yep.
a smaller pin for the peep, as they say.
Yep, because we do a lot of walking 3D shoots, and with those walking 3D shoots, some of those shots are going to be out there 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards. You start shooting with a .19 or a .019.
Covers too much of the target.
Yep, and you can actually create target panic with that. We're also going to be placing on the bow Trophyridge's new Propel IMS drop away. I am really impressed with this drop away. The only thing that's missing from this drop away is the ability to micro adjust left and right and up and down, but it has the ability for up and down, left and right. But it doesn't have the screw on there to do a micro adjustment on there. So hopefully when they do the next iteration of this, they add that on there. One of the cool things with is it's a whale tail on it. If you look in there, I don't know if you can see it.
You can see the whale tail here too.
It's a whale tail, and the entire whale tail is covered in rubber.
Yep.
So there's no metals. Yeah, they do provide you a felt cover for it to help reduce sound even more. And it's a full cage for the drop away. We took the cage off for him though because we're in indoor season right now, so we're going to be shooting 27/64 arrows. These are the Tremor,
made by Element.
Element Archery, with the Bronco fletchings on here. So because of how big this arrow is, it wouldn't clear that well through the cage on the drop away. So we just removed the cage, one screw, and it came off. It was actually relatively easy.
We're at 450 grains with that arrow right there, the way it's built.
Really, really impressed with this drop away. Finally, Trophyridge came out with a good drop away. And it's limb driven, which I love. Working on bows in the shop, I don't have to worry about timing. I get it on the limb and we're good. Unlike your other drop aways where you got to make sure your timing is right, and you got to. Sometimes your customers will come back because their arrows are smacking the drop away because the timing gets off.
The QED had a problem with that.
Yep. I love if I have a choice with a customer and they're putting on any type of drop away, because this is a whisker biscuit free zone here at the Catskill Outdoorsman.
Never again. Never again.
Levi Morgan, I believe, is the one who has a really cool video. It was a podcast he was doing talking about, why the Bronco vein, or the Blazer vein, I'm sorry, is one of the worst vanes to use
Because they're too high.
when going through a whisker biscuit. The video they shot was like a super slow motion video. The vanes bent so much they folded all the way back around and touched the arrow before they came out. And you could see the arrow just trying to figure out what the hell it's supposed to do going down range.
And that screws up your speed and everything coming out of the bow.
Yep. I don't care what anybody says. You know, these guys are like, I've been shooting whisker biscuits since 1952. Whatever hell it is. I don't care. You know, look at cars. The amount of changes that have happened over the years, that they perform better, they drive better, they got better gas mileage. Just because it's been used so many times doesn't mean it has to always be used. Look at these
Everything
advantages.
can be improved.
Everything can be improved, exactly. So Trophyridge, great job on this drop away, man. I am extremely impressed with it. Very well built. So, you know, if you could find a shop that has any in stock, because they're on back order, we have a couple left. We have more coming in here. So if you want one, let us know. They come in IMS and your traditional setup as well.
Yep.
So your integrated mounting system. So the cool things with this bow is it has IMS on the back for setting up your drop away, or if you ready.
We'll get a little bit more close up on that too, on the back side and the front side as well.
And they also have a Picatinny on the front for your Picatinny style sights that you want to put on there. But because we're doing target archery with this bow, we went with a dovetail. That way he could take the sight off and travel with it a lot
All you have
better.
to do is just this little screw on the top, and that sight comes right out.
Yep.
Now everything's still on the bow, and you can still take your sight and put it in a sight box if you
And
want
you
to.
don't have to worry about sighting your bow back in.
Just your micro adjustments when you get wherever you're going, and that's it. I got it as far out as it can go, but that's as far as I want it to go. You can get it a little bit farther inside, but I like my sight as far away from the rail as I can.
Now, do you know the difference on why you go out far with your sight versus coming in? You know what your differences are?
That I don't know.
So that comes in regards to how much of an adjustment is made. So the closer you are, guys, I'm sure you're going to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on this, because this could be a dyslexic moment for me. I might get it a little bit backwards. When you bring your sight in closer, a small movement is a big change. When you bring your sight out farther, a small movement is a smaller change. So let's say you're shooting a 100-yard target for an
You want it
outdoor
as far
target
away
range.
as possible.
You want to move it out because let's say you're like 2 inches low at 100 yards. If you have that sight all the way in and you make a click, that's going to be a big difference 100 yards out. But if you've got your sight out farther and you make a click, it's going to be a much finer adjustment.
Yeah, so it
So-
kinda makes a click that's got a
I could have that backwards. Been wrong before in the past, many times. I've been
In my
told
mind,
that.
it sounds right. So
You know, but that's one of the reasons why I love a dovetail, because you can choose. So when I shoot Olympic recurve with my sight, I always like to have my sight out as far as I can.
right.
That way my adjustments are very, very fine. So that makes me think that I am right in what I'm saying. Oh my God. Don't let the ladies know that I'm right.
Still never let you live it down. So the next part we're going to put on the bow is stabilization. So we got what's called the Trophyridge Hitman 8-inch and 10-inch. And then you got the side mount brackets. All comes in one kit.
Color options too.
Yes, and I put the red on mine because we're going to be doing red peep. We're going to be doing red quiver and everything else like that.
And
So
then we are going to be getting a set of bloodline strings for the bow, and they're going to be red, I'm assuming?
red and black.
Red and black. You're going to do a twist or solid red with black serving?
I think we're going to do a twist, just like we did with the ones with our other bow.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
Guys, if you haven't heard of bloodline strings yet, look them up. My company, I use thread, 60X, and gas here at our shop for strings. And I had one of my companies reach out to me and tell me, hey, you got to check out these thread strings. I said, all right, well, we were getting ready to leave for the Lancaster Archer Classic last year to compete. And I said, I'm going to throw it on my SR350 that I shoot from Bowtech. And I set the strings on there. And I picked up 8 feet per second in speed on the strings alone.
Just on the strings alone. I know they were
Yep.
a lot quieter on my other
And
bow.
they're extremely quiet compared to the other strings. Impressively quiet. And it's a waxless string, so you don't have to wax the string. The minute you wax the string, you actually void the warranty. It's a really
So don't
good
wax the
string. I have over 6,000 shots through my string, and I haven't had to change it yet. It's that good of a string.
The only
So-
thing we really got to change is the peep on this now, and she's ready to go.
Yep.
We'll do a couple shots through paper, show you guys how it shoots, how quiet it is, and then we're gonna go from there. We'll shoot some targets.
It is, guys. It's an impressive bow. And the bow MSRP, hang on, let me
It's
double
not
check.
that expensive. Now, the $700 mark, you're not going to get this sight, you're not going to get this drop away, you're going to get what comes with the bow, but it's a ready-to-hunt kit. And this bow is super light, even with the stabilizer link on it, and it's super light. Which for somebody that's shooting 60, 80 arrows in a contest, you want it to be less of a problem with the weight when you're holding the bow for a couple hours at a time.
Okay.
So,
Paradigm, ready to hunt, ladies and gentlemen. $659.99 MSRP.
that's the same as the RTH Plus. That's crazy. That's crazy.
$660 bow. I'm going to tell you right now, it shoots like an $1,100 bow.
Like he said, for guys like me, long draw length, this goes up
Yep.
to 32, correct?
Yep, 32-inch
So
draw
up to
length.
32-inch draw length. That's anybody really in
As
the industry.
they have the DHC cams on here. The DHC cams in the past, when you like give an example, the XQ32, which is a damn good bow, but it's a very aggressive bow to draw back. It's angry. It's almost like a Bowtech bow in performance mode.
Right. We did drop this a little bit in weight when we were testing it, but at 60 pounds with a 450 grain arrow, I was shooting 299 feet per second with a 31.5-inch draw.
Yep, that's fast.
That's very fast. We actually had to tone it down because some ASA contests you can't have anything over 288 feet per second.
Yep.
But at 56 pounds, I think, or 57 pounds it is now, I was still shooting 288, 286.
Which is really good.
Yeah, especially for the draw length. Most people don't think it is, but 450 grain arrow is a pretty heavy arrow as well.
You know, they do have different color options for the bow. They got the Veil Whitetail, Mossy Oak DNA, True Timber Strata, and then naturally the Blackout bow, which is all black.
Yep.
All my bows are typically Blackout bows that I shoot.
And I like this, the Veil.
Yep.
It's really nice. It's pretty cool looking with the black limbs. But the only thing we're going to do is change out the peep, but we'll get a couple shots off with it first.
Yeah, they're going to cut some corners, and that's
Yeah.
expected. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, bang for your buck, this bow is worth way more than $650. Even if you buy the bow and throw everything off of it and put everything else on there, it's still worth every dime.
You're still looking at less than $1,000
Yep.
for all the other extra stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
All right.
So we'll get to shooting here. All right, guys. So we got the bow set up in the press here. Ryan's taking off the old peep that has the tube on it. Unfortunately, it's a cheaper peep and it's a larger hole or opening, as we say, which was a 1/4 inch. We're putting an 1/8 peep in here now. It's going to match the color of the stabilizers and the string that's coming. Everything's going to be pretty much red on this bow. This press allows us to put the bow in, compress the limbs, and be able to do things to the bow that you can't do without a press. So right now he's drawing the bow up, and he's going to check the cable stops to make sure that the timing is correct on both cams of the bow. Unfortunately, we're looking, we're about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch off on the lower cam. So right now he's doing twists on the cables in order to get the cam timing set. What you would do, if you correct me if I'm wrong, on the bottom where it's not touching, we're going to put twists in to try and pull the cam closer so that the cable stop touches at the same time. We're going to take twists out on the top so that we can meet them in the middle. A little banter. We're almost there. It's just about 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch, which means another couple twists. We had a little argument of what a 1/4 inch was. Most men know. Every man knows. Everybody's 1/4 inch is different, especially in your wife's eyes. Right now, where the cable attachment goes onto the bow on the top, you just put 2 twists in on both sides. Now that everything's set on that, he's going to take this arrow. This is an oversized arrow. All you do is you put it on the cam, and you put it up against the string. This is just to see if you have any cam lean. Check that on both sides just to make sure that the bow was good. Unfortunately, Brian was making a couple extra noises while we were doing this.
Where's the zoom in, zoom out?
I'm just checking the poundage right now. We went down to 52 to get to 285. That's crazy. I'm gonna shoot a couple through paper here. And then after making sure that everything's good with that, we're gonna go ahead and shoot through the ballistic. See what the speed is.
The chrono?
Yeah, you're right, the P has to come down.
As to what?
Come down. Bullet hole, baby. Right here. Looks like it may be a little tear up, but that's about it.
Yeah, slight low knock tear. Low right, just a hair.
Just thinking just a hair. Just setting my peep height up here while we're doing this. And it'll come down. I like keeping my nose on the string. Right now my peep twist is twisted. Height's good.
See, that's what you run into with a stock string, though, man. They're going to break in, and it's going to twist on you.
Yep.
Here, let me put your arrow on your quivers for you. Matter! How's it going?
I think I'm good with that. We got first shot, second shot, third shot.
That's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't write home about that one, you know.
Alright, we're going to chrono some arrows now. So, we'll get it all set. Feet per second. Alright. $286. $282.
282. Let's do one more, see if we can get an average of the three. Hey, Matt.
$284.
All right, so I would say 284 for your speed. And what were you wanting to get down to?
You got to be within 270.
Okay. So we're safe. And that's at how many?
52.8 pounds.
52.8 pounds.
So 52.8 pounds to shoot 284.
That's with a 450 grain arrow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Especially for the draw. It's like you were saying though, the strings definitely, because the peep has got to be twisted and tuned. But we're going to set that up here in a couple minutes. There you go, Bear Paradigm.
Phenomenal bow.
Get yours today.